Welcome back to Walkie Talkie, and this is where we go through my workout and we have a little chat about it. So, for this episode, I did yoga and I found a video about yoga with Cassandra. And I know people say that they realize yoga is harder than they think, but I went into it open minded and I said, well, I don't know what to expect, but I can try my best. And I tried my best. So, we started on the floor laying down on our back, and we had knees to chest. When you bring your knees to your chest. Now, I thought that was fairly simple. It was good. I didn't have many issues with it. I actually got my knees to my chest, which I was a little proud of. And then there were variations to this. So you could widen your legs and then bring your knees further if you had more range of motion. And then there was a thing when she was doing, when she was moving her legs, rotating, to get movement in the hips and stuff. I got it done, but it was just that laying on my back, the rotating on the ground, it was not nice. So that was something I had to take note of. Can't be rolling up on the ground. So that was the first session. Then afterwards, she did this reclined pigeon pose. That's what she called it. So that's where you're still laying on your back. Your knees are up in the air. And then you lap one foot over the next. And you pull the back foot to your chest. So it's almost like a figure four. And you pull it to your chest. Now that was a stretch. I actually felt a stretch there. So that was something else. So after that, then you had to raise the same foot that you had lapped into the air, and you pull it as far back as you could to you. Mind you, you're still all on your back at this point in time. So that was, and then you had to point and flex your foot. So that was a good stretch. And I was just saying, well, we ain't gonna get to do the next foot. But then after the point and flex with the straight leg, then you went into a bridge pose where you put both feet back on the ground and you raise your hips. And then we did all of that on this other leg. So you stretch one side and then you stretch the other side. So after we have finished those stretches, we did this thing she called windshield wipers, where you're sitting up and then you are moving your hips. You're moving the legs from side to side. So you're sitting up and then both legs go to one side and the next side at the same time. So they go left to right to left to right. And then she lapped them in front of her and then did a lean in front. And that's good for the lower back. I actually felt that one. So I was like, okay, all right. I didn't get as far as she did, but I'm guessing she's accustomed to doing this. So that was good. I started like these stretches so far. I have like a hip injury, so I can't get as far with the windshield wipers to the left as I could with the right. So that was something to take note of, but I still did it. I didn't push myself too far because I didn't want my injury to, start to flare up or anything like that. And then after the crisscross and the lean forward, and when she came back up, we turned to the side, we turned to the left, and did a full stretch, like a torso stretch, and then we turned to the right. And mind you, all of this, she's going through step by step. She's telling you, giving you encouraging words to keep going and, keep stretching and to take your time and don't go too far and all that stuff. So I think she's a good teacher. Cassandra really had it covered. And then this is where we started to get tricky. So my girl Cassandra started with, after we did both sides of the crisscrossing and the stretching and twisting, you took a little breather. We had a tabletop pose. So you start on all fours, but then you raise your butt to lift your knees off the ground and try to keep your back flat. So then we did that. And then she was saying, okay, and then you go forward into a plank. I was like, okay. And then up into downward dog. And I was trying to follow. And she said, oh, we can do this a couple more times. So the whole like movement was a tabletop pose into a plank, into a downward facing dog. I think downward facing dog is probably the most popular yoga move like I know of, because I always hear people talk about downward facing dog. So yeah, but so tabletop pose into a plank into downward facing dog, and then after that, after you did that motion like 3 or 4 times, when you get back into downward facing dog, you were to lift one foot and carry it behind you for like a hip stretch at the front, and then bring that same leg back down in front and carry into like a world's greatest stretch, where is when it's like a lunge, but your hands are also on the ground as well. And then you open up the hips and the torso and all of that. So she's giving instructions all this time, so it was really helpful. And then she came up into a lunge stretch, and then with arms raised straight up. So that was interesting. I was wondering about the same thing with there's only been one foot, but then she went back and we went over the other leg. So that was good information there. After that, after you come out the high lunge with your arms raised, you were to do a standing pigeon pose. So remember, we were doing the pigeon pose laying down. We are doing it standing up now. So you stand and you lap one foot at the knee across the other knee, and then you try to squat down. Keyword being try, because when I say I try this, I was there wobbling and shaking, and I was like, this is a lot of core needed. You need a lot of core for yoga, a lot. So that was also something else I had to take note of. I need core. And she was going on and she was doing this exercise, and she was, oh yeah, so we do this. Her voice is very calming. So she was, oh yeah, so we do this and we go on to this pose and you bring your leg here and leg there. And see me there trying to follow without falling over. But it was still good. So after, right, and then the standing pigeon pose. So then you did all of that on the other side. And then after the standing pigeon pose, we stood up straight, which was good, so it won't be too contorted for too long. And then we had to open up our chest, so we clasped our hands behind our back, and then we pulled back so your chest would be wider. You open up your chest, and then we ended up holding over, and then our arms were up in the air. This one didn't have a name, but it was, I guess, this. Well, I felt it in my hamstrings. I don't know if that's where it was supposed to be stretching, but that's where I felt it. And then, so then you hold over, and then you bring your arms down, and then do a leg stretch, lower back leg stretch with your arms in front of you on the ground, if you could reach, like if you're reaching for your toes. And then I reached my toes. Yay! So then, after that, then you step back, and then you back into a plank position, and then you hold it for a little bit, and then you go down into flat on the ground on your stomach, and then into a cobra pose where you raise your neck, your chest, everything from the hips up off the ground or your stomach, how much ever you could get raised. And then after that, after the cobra pose, and we did it a couple times, then that was like the end of the workout session. So then we just sat and crisscross again, and then we had a little thinking session where we do like a daily affirmation. So this workout was supposed to be done at the beginning of your day. So you just get out of bed and you get ready to start your day. You do this to get the blood flowing, to get your muscles woken up, and then all that sort of stuff. So she was saying, think of one thing that you're going to do today and how you're going to get it done, which is what I usually do during my workout. So that was good that we were on the same page. I like to plan during my workouts. So that section was nice. And then after that, I felt so I felt so good. Like the stretch was so nice. I think I might have to make this a daily thing. This workout really felt like I did something for my day. And when I finished, I was like, ah, yes, I could feel myself being, I don't know, it must say it was a mind thing, but I just was like, I could be so productive today. I've done something so early in the morning. So, yeah, I definitely recommend it. It was good. I think yoga's fun. Once it don't fall over, but yeah, that was good. Okay, thank you for joining me today. Bye.